Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 of our Lua series. And in today's episode, we're building a Hangman game in Lua, the classic game where you guess the letters before the stick figure meets its doom. So, no libraries, no engines, just pure terminal Lua. Perfect for beginners or anyone looking to sharpen their logic skills. And by the end of this video, you'll have a complete word guessing game to challenge your friends with, and it'll look something like this. So I'll run this code, and this is our hangman's hanger, and let's try to guess a letter. So T. So it says wrong guess, and it is adding figures to the hangman. So let's try to guess the word. If it's A, okay, so it has 3 letters in the word. So let's try O. So this is how the hangman game works. Now I'll try B. Oh, so it's banana, I'm pretty sure. The word was banana, and we guessed it successfully. So this is how the game works, and if we do 6 number of wrong guesses, our stick figure completes and the game is over. So let's see how to code this in Lua. So let's quickly break down what we will build today. First of all, what is Hangman? Hangman is a game where hidden word is guessed one letter at a time. So its key mechanics include a hidden word that starts out as underscores and 6 wrong guesses before the hangman is complete. Each wrong guess draws a new body part of the hangman, and the game ends when you either guess the word or the figure is complete. So now let's start building this step by step. First of all, we'll open this and we'll start with a list of words and use math.random to pick one. So for storing our list of words, we will use a table. So we'll use a list-based table. It'll have the words, let's say banana, then computer, then Lua, then hangman, and then terminal. So let's say this is our list of words, and we will use math.randomSeed os.time. Now what this does is it actually randomizes our random function that we will use in the other line. So let's say local word equals our words table, and then math.random a random word from our words table. Now if we hadn't used math.randomSeed, the quote-unquote random order would always be the same while we play our game. So if it randomly picked Lua at first and then computer and then terminal and banana, it would pick the same random order again and again each time we play the game. So in order to avoid that, we use random seed, and this adjusts the seed that our random function picks according to os.time. So I hope you get why we use math.randomSeed. So we will create a table which will store our word letters. So a random word is selected and the random word's letters are stored in this table. Now for storing the letters of the word, we will use a for loop for I equals 1, comma, our word, that is the word that we picked, do word underscore letters ith index equals to word, then colon and sub I comma I, and then end. Now this gives us a table like banana. Suppose it gives us a table with the individual letters, so B, A, and then N, and then so on. So this is what word sub does in our 8th line. So after that, we will track our guesses. Now to start tracking guesses, we have to declare our initial game state. State. Now for that, we'll create a table called local guess letters equals to empty for now, and then local correct guesses for our correctly guessed letters equals this to empty. Now we will create a variable called max attempts to define our max number of attempts, which in our case is 6. And then we'll create a counter to track our wrong guesses as well. So wrong guesses equals 0 initially. And we'll create a function that displays the hidden word /word. So we'll create a function called display word. Display underscore word. And what this will do is it will create a variable called display, which will initially be empty, and it will run a for loop from 1, and it will iterate through the word letters do. It will create a letter to store each letter from our table of letters from the selected word. So word letters I. If correct guesses and letter, then display equals display will concatenate, and if this is true, that is our correct guesses contains the letter, then we will concatenate the letter. Else display equals display dot and underscore. So end and then end. Now print \n word, and then it will concatenate our display. So it will either be underscores or the correct guesses. So end. Now how this function will work is later in the game when we ask for our user input, we will check if that letter is contained in our word letters table, that is if it is a correct letter in the word, and if it is a correct letter we will add that onto our correct guesses like this. Suppose A is our letter, since since banana has A. Now if that guess is correct, we will later in the game logic add correct guesses A equals 2. Now what this will do is it will add A as a key in our correct guesses table, and its value will be 2. So for each 2 value, it will print out that value onto our displayed words. So suppose A is guessed correct, right? Now in our demonstration before, it printed out underscore A underscore A underscore A. Since banana has 3 A's, it will print out all of the letters, and this is how the for loop works. If the letter is correct, it will print out the correct letter, that is letter, and if the guess is incorrect, it will just print out a simple underscore. Now in the initial phase, it will just print out underscores since our correct guesses table won't have any guesses. So this is how our display word function works. Now I hope I was able to explain that properly. Now we will move on to our Hangman. So this part of our code will add the visual elements to our game. So we will say function to draw / display the Hangman. Now let's say function display Hangman And then inside this we will create a table called Hangman. Local Hangman equals, we'll just type out a bunch of underscores for the stick of the hangman, and then we'll create a straight line, bunch of spaces, and then another straight line. And after this we will make a condition. Now in our hangman table we want to show different parts of the stick figure based on how many wrong guesses the player has made. And to do this we use a shortcut in Lua called a ternary like conditional operation, that is the condition. So it works like this. First you write a condition like wrong guesses is more than or equal to 1, and then you use the AND keyword to tell Lua what to return if the condition is true. So in our case we'll use AND a stick part and then the stickman's head. So and then you use the OR keyword to tell Lua what to return if the condition is false. So in our case we'll use just the part of the stick. So for example in the third line of the table we will use wrong guesses. If wrong guesses is more than or equal to 1, it should return the stick figure's head, else it should just return a stick. This lets us build the hangman drawing step by step, only showing the parts as per the player mistakes. So each line uses a similar condition to draw a body, arm and legs. So the next line will have, first we'll have to put a comma on this line, and the next line will have wrong guesses is equal to 2, and if the wrong guesses are equal to 2 we'll have to build the stickman's neck. So this first part is the part of the pole, this part of the pole is this part, and then the neck of the stickman, which is this. And then if the wrong guesses is equal to 3, then we will build one of its arms. So let's draw part of the pole first, and then we'll symbolize its arm, left arm, with a slash, and then its body, and then or nothing. So wrong guesses is more than or equal to 4, we will build part of the stick first, and then both the arms, so left arm, the body, and to write a backslash we have to write 2 backslashes since it's an escape character. The first backslash symbolizes the escape character, and the second backslash is the actual backslash. So or we will just draw part of the stick. And then wrong guesses is equal to 5, we will build the left leg, so and part of the pole, and then the left leg, so a slash. A slash, and then or, and just leave it at that. Wrong guesses more than or equal to 6, and then we'll build the part of the stick and its legs, so slash, and then 2 backslashes for one of the backslash to be printed out. So or it'll just be the part of the pole, simple. Now we just need the foot and the rest of the pole. So a line and then the foot of the pole, which we will symbolize by an underscore, and then a line and an underscore once again. So this will be our hangman table. And to display this hangman or the contents of this table, we will use a for loop. So for underscore, this is for the value we do not care about, the first value, which will typically be the index, and the second value, which will be each individual line of the table. So line in I pairs, hangman table, do enter, then print line. Then we'll end the for loop, and then we'll end the function whole. So each incorrect guess reveals a part of the stick figure. And now we will create a function to check for the win. So let's say check for win. Then we'll create a function called isWinner, and it'll have a for loop with the same logic. Underscore, we don't care about the index, we care about the letter. In I pairs, word letters, which is the table of the letters of our random word. So for letter in I pairs, that is our table. If not correct guesses, letter, then we'll just return false, and then end our if condition, end our for loop. And if every letter in our I pairs, that is if our word letters table is present in our correct guesses, it should return true, since our word has already been guessed, and this will end. Now this works by checking if all the letters of our word letters table are present in our correct guesses table, and if it is not so, false is returned. But if all the letters of the word are present, true is returned, and the player is declared the winner. So this is how our check for win function will work. And now it's time for the core game logic, and here is the heart of the game, the main loop. So we'll symbolize this by writing main game loop. So this will contain a while true, since we want to run this loop over and over again until the player runs out of guesses or the player guesses the word. So while true, we will display the hangman at first. So display hangman, and then we will display the word, which will just be a bunch of underscores for now. So after that, we will take input from the user by using the io.write to prompt the user to guess a letter, and then we will take input from the user. So first we'll use io.write, and then we will say \n guess a letter. So guess a letter. After that, we will use first of all, we'll create a variable to store the player's guess. So we will use io.read and turn it into lowercase using the lower function. So if the length of our guess, the hashtag is used to derive the length of our guess, that is string, is not equal to, now the not symbol is symbolized by this symbol in Lua, is not equal to 1 or not, we'll use the match function to check if the guess is a letter or not. So we'll use the percentage sign along with a. This checks if the guess entered is a letter or not, so numbers aren't able to enter. So then print invalid input, enter a single letter. So we'll symbolize that we should enter a letter in our guess, else if guessed letters guess, then, that is if the guess is already present in the guess letters, then we should print you already guessed that letter. else the guessed letters guessed will be set to true. That is, we will add the letter that the user guesses into our guessed letters table as a key, and its value will be true. So this is adding our guessed letters into the guessed letters table. This line does that. Now after that, we'll create, no, this should be else actually, this should be else, and after that we will create a local variable called found. So local found will set this value to false, and for each letter in the table word letters, we will check if the letter is equal to the guess. So if the letter is equal to the guess, then we will put that guess in our correct guesses table. So if the guess is correct, we have to put that guess in our correct guesses table. And the way we do that is like this line. We will write correct guesses, guess, we'll add the guess as a key, and we will set its value to true. And we'll set the found variable to true since we found the guess. And we'll write end, and then end once again. Well, if the found value is still false, that is if not found, then we will increase the count of our wrong guesses since that guess was indeed a wrong guess. So wrong guesses plus 1. So now we have to make the user aware that the guess that they made was wrong. So wrong guess attempts left and we'll print out the max attempts value. So wrong guess, and we'll concatenate max attempts minus the amount of wrong guesses. So wrong guesses. So if the player makes one wrong guess, he or she has 5 numbers of attempts left. Since 6 minus 1 wrong guess, our max attempts are 6, so 6 minus 1 is equal to 5. So it will print out the max number of attempts the player has left. So end. And we'll check if the player has guessed the word successfully, then is winner. Then we will display the word, and then we will print. First of all, we'll go to the new line, and then we will print congratulations. Oh, this should be in quotes, I'm sorry. \n, and then congratulations. You guessed the word. And then we'll concatenate the word that was guessed, and we'll break our loop. Now if the player does not guess the word correctly, that is if the wrong guessing is still going on, we will add a condition. That is, else if the player has not won yet, else if the wrong guesses is more than or equal to the max attempts, then we will display the hangman. So we will print in a new line, game over. The word was, and then we will write or concatenate the word in this as well. We'll use break, and then we'll use a bunch of ends. This end is for this if statement, another end for our top if statement, that is this end state if statement, and then another end for our while loop, so end. Now this completes our Hangman game's full code. So let's play a quick round to see it in action, and let's run to see if there are any errors in the code, since there might be any errors while coding a small project like this. And if there are any errors, we'll find it on the spot and fix it. And just I hope you guys coded along with me and got the same result. So let's run this and see if there are any errors. So yeah, okay, so turns out I've not placed an OR statement in our ternary statement on line 39, so that was what was causing the problem. And in the meanwhile, I found another error in our line 90. So this print statement has never been closed off in this line, so that was an error. And after fixing these errors, this game should run properly. Now let's run this game. So our poll is a bit tilted, but we can of course fix that through our string. But let's try to guess the letter, shall we? Or the word. So let's see if our letter A is in the word. Okay, so while testing the game, I found a bunch of errors, just spelling mistakes. I already fixed these errors, but turns out instead of I pairs, I had typed out I Paris. So I pairs in this line, and in line 56 I should have used I pairs. Now this should make the game work properly. Okay, so let's play this game. After guessing A, it says wrong guess and it draws the stickman's head. Now if I type out C, okay, so the word is computer, since I know this is computer since we have put computer in our local words, but you can of course change this these words as much as you like. So let's just see if the program is working as intended. So we'll type out A and then enter. You have already guessed that letter. It says we had typed out A at first, so it is checking if the word is already guessed or not, or if the letter is already guessed or not. So let's say it has Q. It is drawing the hangman, so let's say W. Again wrong guess. Oh, it is drawing the neck and the arm, left arm. So let's try B. Let's try Z. Okay, so execution time took longer to finish, so we should execute this quickly. A. Oh, so it is banana, so B. So we already guessed B now, and the word is banana. So the winning mechanism is working as intended. Let's see if the wrong mechanism is working. So if the hangman completes. So this is obviously Lua, so we'll just type out the letters of computer. So C, O, M, P, U. Oh, Lua has U. So let's say T. Oh, it is drawing the legs as well. E. Last attempt. Oh no, the game was over. The word was Lua. So our game over function is working as well. So this code is working completely as intended, although the alignment of the hangman is kind of messed up. You can always fix that through your text, and that was the game. And there you have it. You have just coded Hangman in Lua, all in our own Codens compiler. And if you enjoyed this, drop a like, hit subscribe, and tell me in the comments what game should we build next. We are even planning to release videos regarding Love 2D, which is a game engine which uses Lua for its scripting, and we can build pretty interactive games with graphics inside Love 2D. But until then, happy coding and bye bye.